The 2019-2020 high school winter sports season has wrapped up, and going to state competitions is one of the highest achievements an athletic team can do. The Sports Talk crew was able to go and cover some Tiger athletics at this year's state competitions. Let's start with Cedar Falls Wrestling. Coach Chris Ortner joined the Tigers in 2018. Since 2018, Ortner has had a plan to improve this team and get these Tigers hungry for some championships. This year, the Tigers were conference champs for the first time since the 90s, and all it took was hard work and the kids believing in the program.
I think it's just a difference of attitude and mindset and expectations, and just changing that right there is it made us a lot better team. So. But it's all the kids. They work hard. I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's preparing them for a lot of things after this. It's a metaphor for life, man. Wrestling is. So if they can do this, they can go through anything.
This is your first conference title since the 90s. What does that say?
It says we're going in the right direction. Really. Last year we had I think it was a three-way tie. That didn't really make anybody happy at that point, but we wanted to make sure that we really achieved it here. Just kind of building the culture is everything, because wrestlers come and go, but if you got the good culture, people come in, they buy in, and then it just works out.
Going into the final week of the conference dual season, the Tigers and Cedar Rapids Prairie both entered Cedar Falls Gymnasium with undefeated conference records, setting up a winner-take-all conference showdown. The match consisted of the Tigers playing cat and mouse with which wrestlers were going to wrestle in which weight class. The Tigers ended up winning the last two matches of the duel to get a final score of 37-30. This win helped the Tigers stay undefeated in the Mississippi Division with a 7-0 record. Before the wrestlers make their way to Des Moines for the state tournament, Cedar Falls had to travel to Marshalltown first for district wrestling. The top two wrestlers in their designated weight class at districts then go to state wrestling in Des Moines at the Wells Fargo Arena. Cedar Falls had three wrestlers get in the top two spots at districts, and they were senior Jackson Barth at the 126 weight class, sophomore Dylan Witt at the 138 weight class, senior Colin Bonenkamp at the 195 weight class. Colin and Jackson have both been to state before and shared some advice with us about how to treat the state tournament.
Just treat it like any other tournament. That's really, because the first period, people kind of worry about the huge stadium and all that, but then just wrestle, Let's
go, Jackson! First round kicked off at 9 a.m., and the first to take the mat was senior Jackson Barth in the 126 weight class.
At the beginning of the match, I came out more worried about my ties instead of really defensively, and he got his duck under, which my coaches warned me about before the match, and I felt that, and that really clicked in my head, and I knew I had to start getting to my stuff but be defensive at the same time, and I just want to go out there and get the fall.
Really, just go out and wrestle his match. I wanted him to try to zone out everything around him and just worry about him and his opponent, and that was the message. And I think that first maybe minute, it was kind of getting used to it. You give up that first takedown, it's not a big deal, really. I mean, I don't know what the stats are, but we want to go out and get the first takedown, but if we don't, it's a long match. You just got to keep fighting, and that's kind of our MO is just, it doesn't matter what the score is, if you keep fighting, good things will happen.
The second time around, I felt the kind of hip toss, and a guy on my team named Austin Cross, he's really good with it, and me and him worked on it a couple of times, and I saw it was there, and I just jumped on it while I could, and knew it was tight, and I knew I had to keep it to get the fall. Feels amazing, but right now I'm gonna take it in and celebrate and really recover, and it's an indescribable feeling, especially in a place like this with so many people that from Cedar Falls, all my family, friends, and loved ones coming to cheer me on, and it's just a remarkable feeling, and I feel truly blessed.
Next up in the 138 weight class was sophomore Dylan Witt, making his state tournament debut.
I was just going to dominate on our feet and then get on top and basically pin him, but basically that wasn't it's not really what happened. So, but yeah, that's the plan for throughout the tournament. So just moving on from here on out, that's in the past. So we're just going to move on and keep working.
Those guys are frustrating. I mean, and really, I never felt like he was in danger of giving up points, but he just wasn't able to score points because the guy was tying him up. But yeah, it's frustrating. You can't lose your composure. You got to stay solid. You got to stay focused, which I think he did.
Yeah, survival and domination. Domination is the key at this point. Just got to dominate the rest of the bracket.
You got it. If you don't, you don't. If you wrestle, it's the Tigers. No, you don't.
Finishing up round 1 for the Tigers is Colin Bonenkamp at the 195 weight class.
It's a lot less nerve-wracking. The first day last year, I was kind of like sick. Kind of looking back now, I was probably just nervous. It's so much different than the first time. First time it was like everything felt bigger last year, if that makes sense. But coming back, a lot more comfortable. Kind of just staying focused. The first match in any tournament's kind of a little rough for everybody. Make sure you're in the right headspace, not thinking about anything else, and just focus on the match you have first. Just try to get to my shot right away. Sometimes in the first match, lots of times I'll kind of be hesitant, but I tried my best just to go out there, get to my shots, and just kind of go from there. A lot better first match, for sure. A lot more exciting, a lot more movement at 195, dropping down. But it's a good time. It's a good time. My coach has said to me right before he goes, "Hey, let's go 3-0." I'm like, okay, I'll try. But it's good.
Yeah, this is the kid he's wrestled before, so we just need to go out and repeat what we did the first time. So let's get this one, and then we can go regroup and get ready for tomorrow.
Keep moving forward. Good attitude, good headspace. That's something that lots of people kind of get antsy about at the state tournament. They kind of get focused. They kind of clam up. They're not wrestling their best, and so my goal is just to be making sure I'm clear head and just get ready to go.
Hey there, Tiger Country. The Sports Talk crew is back in Des Moines at the Wells Fargo Arena, bringing you all the Tiger action for the high school wrestling state tournament. You just saw Jackson Barth, Dylan Witt, and Colin Bonenkamp get a W after day 1. Let's see if they can keep that momentum going into day 2 for the quarterfinals. As you get deeper in the bracket, the competition gets tougher. Jackson Barth was up first, and he was ready to wrestle. And so was his opponent, Colin Schriever from Mason City. The Mason City wrestler had multiple takedowns and pretty much controlled the whole match. You got to give it to Jackson, though, because he never stopped wrestling. In the end, Mason City scored the most points, though. The overall second round was a challenging round for the Tigers. Dylan Witt was up next, wrestling Cedar Rapids Xavier Christian Stanek. Stanek got the first takedown, but Dylan continued to wrestle, and he also got a takedown. But in the end, Stanek won 4-2. Colin Bonenkamp was up next and had to wrestle Levi Agley from Fort Dodge, and Colin put in a good effort, but Agley was able to pin Bonenkamp. So after the second round, all 3 Tigers had lost their matches, but it is a double elimination tournament, and in some cases a triple elimination if you get deep enough in the bracket. Unfortunately, Jackson lost in the third round, and that gave him his second loss of the day, which eliminated him from the state tournament. So that left Colin and Dylan to wrestle in the third round, and we will start with Dylan Witt wrestling Jared Cortez from Epworth Western Dubuque. And Dylan had some good shots on the Epworth Western Dubuque wrestler and getting a 5-0 decision for the win. Up next for the Tigers was Colin Bonenkamp, this time taking on Colton Drake from Storm Lake. And you can see in Colin's eyes that he was not going to lose this match.
it's a good time though. There's nothing better than like a good, hard-fought match. I mean, it's good to get a quick pin, but those matches where it comes down to like the very end, just both of you are just fighting as hard as you can. That's where it's fun. You really gotta. It's kind of a feeling thing. Like you can go over a technique as much as you want in practice, but it's different. It's always different in a match. You just gotta. When you feel it, you gotta go. You can't hesitate. So I tried my best to do that there. I think it worked a little bit.
Both Colin and Dylan ended up taking the podium at the state wrestling tournament this year. Colin finishing 8th in the 195-pound weight class, and Dylan finishing 7th in the 138-pound weight class. The Sports Talk crew want to congratulate the Cedar Falls wrestling team and also head coach Chris Ortner for being named the Mississippi Valley Conference Coach of the Year and Class 3A Coach of the Year.
I mean, he's been a great coach to me. Since he's been here, it's just my level. I've been getting older as well, so just kind of the way practices are run. It's not too different from how they used to be, but just kind of the technique is a lot. We go over technique kind of like based on our weights. I guess it's not just all the same. So like the things I work on at practice aren't always the same as Barth, who's 100 pounds less than some of these guys. It's just a good attitude too. Just kind of building the culture back up. It's been down in some years, and we're trying to build it back to like a top program.
It was a nice honor. I mean, I don't know if I deserved it at this point, but it was an honor. It's anytime your other coaching peers recognize you, it's an honor. And there's a lot of people that deserved it, so I feel honored to have it. So I'm just thankful, and really, it's not about me. It's never been about me. It's about the kids, and it's about our coaching staff and our program. So I'm just the guy that gets the credit, and I shouldn't. It goes to everybody else. Those are the guys that do all the hard work.
On the next Sports Talk, we go from wrestling mats at the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines to Cadillac Lanes in Waterloo for this year's state bowling tournament.